What's happening? Oh, boy. Here we go.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, boy.
So good. It's just, woo.
Oh,
Oh,
this one's real.
yes.
Lunch and a show, huh? How about that?
And that is a sandwich. I'll have what she's having.
Welcome back to your third stage. Blue Swimming after Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal recreated that famous scene for a new advert, as you've just seen. There's only one question on our lips. Is it ever okay to fake it? Nadia Sawala.
Oh, only if you're really, really, really bored.
Kelly Brook.
No, I don't think so. I think you should be completely honest in a relationship.
And what about you, Linda Robson?
I've done it a few times. I've been doing the Sainsbury's shopping list while it's going on.
Romance! Anyway, still to come, we are discussing the dangers of fad dieting and the worrying number of young people who obsess over thinness, as it's revealed that a quarter of women have tried their first diet at the age of 16. Now, she has starred alongside some of the biggest names in entertainment. Tom Holland, Dame Judi Dench, to name but a few. But there was a time Hollywood star Naomi Watts feared her career would end after finding out she was menopausal. She opened up about her experience with our very own Charlene and Mariella.
Well, joining us now, we've got Hollywood actor, Naomi Watts, who's joined us. Naomi, it's so great to see you. Thanks so much for talking to us. I've been hearing loads from Mariella because you guys are friends, aren't you?
We are. We've known each other quite a long time, actually, over a couple of decades. A mutual Australian friend introduced us, and I think back then we discovered a joy in dry white wine and gossiping. But that became a lot more of a serious connection, if you will, during the pandemic, when Naomi called me up and I wanted to talk about the menopause work I'd been doing in the UK. But what I hadn't realised was that back when I first met you was probably around the same time that you were both trying to have children and going through perimenopause, which is partly what kick-started your brilliant new book, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. Hi, guys. Thanks for having me. I was 36 years old and trying to get pregnant and failing. And so my doctor took some blood work, which the results suggested that I was, quote unquote, close to menopause. So it put the fear of God in me. And yeah, I spent a lot of time trying to get pregnant. That's a whole fertility story that I go deeply into in the book. Mercifully, I was able to have 2 children, but went heavily into symptoms as soon as I'd stopped breastfeeding my second child, and felt very lonely and scared. And I wished there was a book at that time. The internet was barely active. There was very little information. And whenever I tried to talk to friends about it, it was sort of met with nervous laughter of, oh, don't be silly. You know, you're far too young to be in menopause, which kind of just made me retreat further and further into my shame. And I wished, yeah, there was some kind of handbook that told me that it wasn't the end.
Did anybody speak openly growing up about going through the menopause?
Not really. I did remember when I was given that news that my mother had said she went into menopause at 45, but no other detail around it. I didn't know there was, you know, a multitude of symptoms or however long they went on, or any suffering. I didn't know. And I actually called her after that first doctor's appointment and said, Mum, why didn't you tell me more about this? And she said, these were the conversations I never had with you because my mother never had them with me. And so there was this code of silence that seemed to have been agreed upon, and no blame on her. It was just how society worked, that messaging was kept, you know, quiet, and no, we mustn't complain or be seen to be in any way undignified. It's absurd.
Well, you've been incredibly candid in the book, and I think we'll talk in a minute about the kind of bravery that takes in in the Hollywood landscape. But I just wonder how you felt back then, because you just made King Kong, which was probably your sort of blast into superstardom in a way. And you must have felt incredibly vulnerable at that point, because here were all the opportunities you'd worked so hard during your 20s and early 30s to achieve, and yet you were being told that you were basically in the sort of, you know, the parlance of the day, end of life.
Yes, I certainly was not going to be breathing a word about it around any of my contemporaries or peers. It felt, yes, like I had been branded with this label of this is the end and you are no longer going to be sexy or a leading lady of any kind. So I sat with that secret for a long time before I became open about it. And I suppose the only thing that led me to be open was, you know, getting to that average age, 51, where I was allowed to be menopausal, and I was just exhausted by holding that secret. And I think that there should be no shame around it, and we should come together and find ways to support each other, make sure that stories are told in media and in films and books, all of it, and get the best support we can get.
I mean, Hollywood tends to be a great educator for so many people all over the world. Do you foresee a time where films in Hollywood will tackle subjects such as the menopause, or just happen to have older women in films who also happen to be going through the menopause? Do you foresee a time where that will happen?
Oh, we can dream.
Well, I'm seeing it now with, you know, there's a great list of fantastic female-driven stories this year of wonderful films. So I do see the change taking place in real time now. I mean, Nicole Kidman in Baby Girl couldn't be more sexual and exciting. You've got Pamela Anderson, you know, and Demi Moore talking about aging. I mean, that's going deep into it. So I do see it taking place. Hollywood is a progressive industry at its core.
I think that one of the things that's most striking about the book, and it's such a great book, and this, you've put so much
I'll show it. Here it is.
personal. Oh, there's the cover.
It
It's got such a great jacket too. You put so much personal detail into it, and one of the scenes I think that you describe is really arresting, which is when you were about to, I think, have sex for the first time with your now husband, Billy Crudup, who you married earlier this year, was it, or last? No, last year. Last year in Mexico. Fantastic wedding. Thank you very much for inviting me. But the scene is just, I think it will ring true for so many women, because it's this moment that's hugely sexy and hugely passionate, and you're just getting ready, and all you need to do is get that HRT patch off your bottom. So you go into the bathroom. Tell us about that.
Well, you've said it perfectly, Mariella. And there's a bit more graphic detail in the book, which I'll leave for the reader. But yeah, it was an awkward moment. And luckily, I came out and just sort of owned what was going on. And I was with a partner who was compassionate, curious, empathetic, and so moved through it. And I think that has been a lot of the reason why I was able to get to the point of creating Stripes Beauty, as well as writing a book, is having a partner who was not squeamish, not only not squeamish, but incredibly supportive, and was like, yeah, go for it, rock on, very much in support of empowering me.
And it's not just sort of having partners that are supportive. I can imagine that your advice has been invaluable to your female friends. So having someone in your corner who's able to give you great advice is invaluable, isn't it?
Absolutely. And certainly that's what I wished I had. And another reason why I wrote the book, I wanted it to be like a cozy chat with your girlfriend on the couch, so that you could just have someone to bounce off, you know, your symptoms, your fears, all of your stories, and be able to not just like indulge in good information, but have a good laugh and find ways to thrive.
Well, Naomi, it's been such a joy to talk to you, and please do come and visit us next time you're in town. We'll have you at our Loose Women desk any day of the week. So Dare I Say It is out now, and it is an absolutely brilliant read. Naomi, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys. Bye.
Bye.
she's fantastic.
Yeah,
Isn't
brilliant.
She? So
Really,
branded. It's like she said, she was trying to create this sort of conversation you have with a friend on a couch. You get that sense from her there, don't you? That
I love that
got
she's
the
just in her
ability.
power, just owning it. And it must be so hard in that Hollywood landscape just to kind of... I mean, I saw Demi Moore on the cover of a magazine last week and it said women over 40 smashing it. But she's like 62. And I thought, why can't it say women over 60 smashing it? So I do feel like...
Or women, or just women.
Or just
smashing
women,
it.
but like, it's just, there's just this denial that women age. Like, no one wants to accept that you're still killing it over
Unbelievable.
40.
As well, she just mentions there about talking with your mum, which a lot of people will sort of have had that conversation or sometimes feel they can't. What was your experiences?
Well, my mum never spoke about it really, but looking back now, I mean, she was having hot flushes and things and was getting a bit angry with us and that. And I went on HRT quite a few years ago. And then I decided, because my sister had breast cancer, so I decided to come off the HRT. And then the kids were begging me to go back on the HRT because they said, you're so miserable and grumpy all the time. So I did go back on the HRT. But my sister Debbie went through it at 38. So it's quite young to be going through it, isn't it, then? And I remember talking about it on television. She went, don't keep telling everyone going through the menopause.
Yeah,
I said,
Yeah,
nothing to be
similar feeling of
embarrassed
shame.
about.
That's terrible.
Nothing to be embarrassed about.
And that's over decades.
Yeah.
You know, where it's
Yeah.
instilled in you to feel like it's sort of it's a secret.
Shame.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is that? What, do you think we're getting better with it, Nadia?
That's why there's such a big pain gap in pain relief and stuff for women, because women are always told to just get on and manage everything and not say anything, because there's somehow shame in our bodies, shame in our period blood, shame in menopause, you know, and so we just have to really push against that. And we have, and very much on this show as well, because the more we talk about it, the more people just have to get, these bodies are amazing, why should we have to keep apologising for them? But just a little, she did make me laugh with the HRT patch, because Mark, one day we were in a position, he went, oh my God, he goes, it looks like you're in the bargain basement, because I had so many places where I've taken it off where I've got the sticky, because you can't get the sticky off, can you? And I thought, God, what a difference from a long-term relationship and a new relationship.
See, that's why that book clearly is where it resonates on so many levels, even the sticky marks on your skin. No, it's such a truth. She's a lovely, lovely girl. I really,
Well, I really liked her, yeah.
OK, still to come with health warnings as the shocking tapeworm diet is said to be making a comeback. An important chat about the dangers of fad dieting as we share our own experiences, including the shocking trend Nadia remembers from her youth. All of that coming up after this.